Now then, and welcome back to another episode of Nemsun playing with Britannia and Applied Energisitics 2. I gotta work on that title, I think. That title doesn't quite sum it up. NemGo Reborn, that's the server I'm playing on, and this is what we're doing today. Today I've been working on the Petal Apothecary and trying to figure out how to automate it using Applied Energisitics and all the things Applied Energisitics and its own useful little devices that it has for automation. So, the first things first, right? The Petal Apothecary requires a water supply. A bucket of water dropped on the top or right-clicked onto it will put water into it. Okay, so a bucket dropped from the top or a right-click with a bucket. So we can't automate the right-click because that's not something I've got available in Applied Energisitics. You can't automate a right-clicking method. But we can put items into a Britannia open crate and allow them just to then drop down onto there. So I've got an export bus for water buckets here. It will craft them if it's necessary, and whenever it can, it will put one in there. Now we've got a level toggle bus here, a toggle bus, so that this arm of the Applied Energistic system will only activate if it receives a redstone signal to connect to the rest, right? So it'll only craft that water bucket if it's connected to the system. And that is tapered by the torch here with a comparator. And whenever the Petal Apothecary is empty, the comparator will output a redstone signal that will turn off the torch. And then, did I just say that right? When it's full, the comparator will redstone signal to turn the torch off, which turns this arm of the AE system off. When it's empty, that will turn this arm back on, and it will craft a bucket of water. The bucket of water will then drop, and then turn this back on again, preventing any more. Okay, so it's an auto refill little system here. But how do I get the bucket of water in the AE system? Well, there's this block here. Now, this isn't its end result. This is just where I've put it to show you today. This is a fluid autofiller. Let's see if I can get it up on here. Fluid. It's a fluid autofiller, right? Fluid interface is part of the new Applied Energisitics, and fluid terminals, new Applied Energisitics. The old fluid interface from Extra Cells has been depreciated into the new Applied Energisitics. Yeah. This autofiller requires a fluid terminal and a fluid assembler. The fluid assembler requires a fluid storage component and a molecular assembler. So all in all, we've been making these sort of components plenty of times. This is now a fluid autofiller, a kind of an auto crafting assembler with fluid, right? And what this does is, if at any point there is a liquid in the system that is requested as a bucket of in a crafting recipe, this will take the bucket out of its inventory, fill it with the liquid from the system, and store it, or send it. So I could send this as a bucket of lava. If I've got lava in my AE system stored away, then this will autofill a bucket with lava. It needs a bucket as well, so the bucket itself goes away in there. Let's put bucket. So I've only got 3 buckets in the system, and that's about it, right? So the bucket's got to be in the system for this to fill when this is requested as a crafting recipe. So it will say, I need a bucket of water, craft me one, and this will take water out of the system and craft it into the bucket. It's not really a crafting, is it? It's a filling the bucket with water process, right? As an autofiller. And that's because I do have a little AE system set up over on the far side that takes water, imports water from a sink and puts it onto an AE cell for storage. I'll do the same with other liquids in the future, but for right now, water's sorted for this. Okay? So how does it actually function when it's looking like it works? Let's go with a Hydroanger. Let's craft 1 Hydroanger. Start that. Wait, that was quick. So it immediately dropped all the items into there, made the recipe, and then after a little while because there was no water in there, it turned off and put a bucket in there. Okay, so if we turn this off now, look, you'll see that it will ping on in the briefest of times. There we go. And then it'll try autocraft. There we go. Autocraft's a bucket. Autocraft. It'll try and autocraft again. Yay, there we go. So at this point, this is filling all of my empty buckets with water. Okay? It doesn't actually show any animation or anything like that, but it is pumping all those extra buckets with that. Now, if I really wanted to make sure that I had lots of these, then I could set up a recipe for crafting buckets, right? Which I don't want to do. I don't want to do that because, well, I'll end up crafting tons and tons of buckets that I don't need. Craft it up, put it in, and drop it down. That's a simple thing. Now, to make the actual Hydrangea, we've got an interface. Now, the interface is basically a pattern that puts the items into the open crate. And then the interface will try and put items in one by one. And as soon as they go into the target inventory, they will drop into here and become part of the recipe, right? So I believe that a seed, if you drop a seed on the top, it doesn't actually do anything. If I drop a seed on the top, it doesn't actually do anything. Can't quite get it in there. If I throw a seed up, okay, if I throw a seed up, kind of get it there. Nope. No, can't quite get it onto the thing. Let's throw it there. Can I throw it there? Can I throw it up? This is a new game. Can I get it on there? There we go. So the seed won't actually go into the Petal Apothecary for any reason other than to finish a recipe, right? So long as I craft items only as individual flowers in here, if I just craft it as an individual flower like that, as a processing pattern, and I only ever call for it once, right? If I only ever like get one at a time, it should send the items in like that. Now, I want to try out 2 at a time, but at the moment, my stockpile for those ingredients, the blue flowers and the cyan flower petals, they're running a bit low. So I want to make something first that does more flower production. So we've got this. I can now make hydrangeas whenever I want. I've got 2 in my system now to replenish this little setup here to give me mana, right? So I've got that on automatic recrafting because those break after a little while. So I'll put those away in there for now. Right, so now what I want to make is another flower that will generate things for me. I need a flower like the Jaded Amaranthius, which will create more flowers for me to harvest. And that requires a Rune of Spring, which requires me to get the Runic Altar working a little bit. A Rune of Spring requires Rune of Fire, Rune of Water, Rune of that requires all these extra bits and pieces. So I do need to make a few Runic Altar changes. And I'm hoping that I can also figure out how the Runic Altar works to do auto-crafting of the Runic Altar stuff as well. But that'll be for a different episode. So for right now, I just need to get those bits set up over here. Let's have this set up. I think you just have it flowing towards the next place. Yeah. And set that up over in this chair over here. So that will then power over here for when I want stuff over here. And I can mess around with how to automate this bit very, very soon. However, the next thing I really need to do is I could program making pure daisies, mana stars, endo flames. I could program all of the ones that require no ruins or runes. Program it for everything that doesn't require runes, so I can make all this functioning generating flora that doesn't require runes and put them all into the system. There's quite a lot of that, but really I need a hopper hock, because one of the things that I'm failing to do at the minute is whenever there is a bucket dropped from the system, it's not the empty bucket isn't getting sucked up and put back into anywhere. So I need that replacement to go somewhere, so the bucket gets sucked up and put away. So a best way to get rid of that is a hopper hock. And a hopper hock requires, let's see, hopper hock. A hopper hock requires all of these to go in: grey mystical seeds, grey petals, and light grey petals with a rose. So I need this done as well. Is that a crafting recipe? Yeah, that is. And I can do that as a crafting recipe because I've got some grass somewhere. How am I going to get grass in the system? Let's have a look. Well, I've got 76 grass in the system at the minute. How do I make grass? I can throw dead bushes into the mana pool and get that way. A void miner would do that as well. Yeah, so a botanic void miner would get all that stuff. But mostly the dead bush back into grass would be it. And yeah, that's about it. So apart from that, going out with shears and actually growing the stuff. That's about it. But I've got 76 at the minute, so that's not too bad. So this system's working nicely now. So it was all set up. You basically saw one of them in the previous episode, how it works. Yeah. Input the items in the back. I'm starting to run low on the old wood there because it's created all of the living wood for me. The supplies are now at 1,024 blocks each, and as soon as I take one, it will break one, place another one, and turn another one in. Break one, somewhere around the back somewhere. Yep, place another one and turn it into living rock. So it's an auto-replacing function that's connected up to the AE system, so I have access to all of this living wood and living rock ingredients available through the system because of that storage bus on the top there. Yep, so that's good. But first, to make the hopper hock, I do need a couple of bits of this. There we go. And the living rock is for the runes. So I'm supposed to put all of these things onto here. Let's put one on, that on. Gonna put another one on? Yeah, I'll put it on those. Put that on. Sometimes it lags out a little bit. There we go, so all that's on. Right, and then when it's done, when that's done, I'm supposed to drop, well, it's taking mana from the mana pool for a start. When that's done, it's ready. It's got a little timer on it. That's nice. Nice visualization these days in Britannia. To see how long it's going to be before it's done. Over halfway. And then I'm supposed to drop one of these living rocks on the top, and it turns it into the rune that we need for the crafting recipe. I'm starting to think. There we go. And then it does a sparkle. Bum, 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 bum. Sparkle, sparkle, sparkle. And I'm supposed to just throw that on the top, I believe. And then it needs a crack with a wand. So I don't know how I'm going to auto-craft this whole process, because cracking it with a wand, that's not easy, is it? That's, again, a right click with a wand to make it happen. Ooh. And it automatically dropped itself on. So it dropped itself back on in order to make the runic... Yeah, okay, well. That's another thing. It's going to have a hopper hock that pulls everything off very quickly as well. Alright, well. That's that stage done anyway. And the hopper hock itself is going to be this recipe. So I'm going to need a red root stone, a rune of air, 2 grey, 2 light grey. 2 grey, 2 light grey. So 2 grey and 2 light grey. Redstone root, which I've now got available there, so I'll craft one of those. Start, thank you. And one of the runic airs. Right, so processing pattern. We want to drop the redstone root. We want to drop 2 mystic grey, 2 mystic light grey, and 1 rune of the air to make the hopper hock. Let's make sure that this works. Hopper hock. Yeah. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So we have to do it manually the first time. Ping. We don't want the mana powder in there, no. Mystical greys, boom, boom. Mystical light greys, boom, boom. And then the rune of air, boom. And that's ready now, just for the seeds. Let's get a seed and drop a seed on there. Boom. Got a hopper huck, yes. And then put that onto here as the outcome for that recipe and generate that recipe. Okay. Now if I throw that in there and put this into here, that recipe is now making hopper hucks. Okay, it auto refilled for me. That's good. I'll take that back away. And then if I go and suggest that I want a hopper huck, craft one next, it should take all of those components, drop it all in, and a seed. It's just waiting for the seed. Oh, the one thing I missed on my... Oh, I missed the seed, didn't I? Dang it. Okay, so I've got to put that in. Can I take all this out, actually? Yes, I can. Okay, let's take all this out. And let's take that out while I think about it. I really should have put the seed on it first, shouldn't I? Yeah, there's no seed there. So I should put the seed on it there, so it drops a seed as well. Okay, so that one can be gone. Put that one back in a minute. This is how it should be. But I do need to get all of this out of there very quickly to get all that out. Yeah, there we go. And then try again. I know that the system's now going to have everything in it that I didn't need or want created. Let's put those in for now as well. Okay, so let's try again. Craft one. Next. Start. In, bing, bing. There we go. And the hop hop comes out. Good. And then water refills. Water refills. Yep, there we go. Okay, so that's all we needed to worry about, okay? Now, the issue we've got is putting the water bucket back into the system. And also, interfaces like this need more to go on. Okay, so there is a difference in interface here, right? So an ME interface can be turned from a block form into an interface and vice versa, right? So you can turn it to and from, back and forward, into whatever you need it to be, right? And in this form, we can place an item frame or pump items into it. Whereas in the other form, we're basically just telling it to put items into an adjacent inventory. So I can't put items back into that, but it is part of this block space instead of having its own block space. So its own block space is the thing, that's fine, right? I then need to put a hopper hock next to it here, right? So the hopper hock will put items into this inventory unless it's or if it's whitelisted on here, right? So if it's whitelisted on the item frame. So I got to try and figure out how to do that for multiple different types of flour. For first off, though, I want to see if it will take care of putting empty buckets back into the system. Whether this will quickly enough put water back into here before it sucks up the water bucket. Because I don't want this sucking up a water bucket, do I? It doesn't need to do that. It needs to suck up everything. Which means I probably don't even need the filter, to be fair. You can take that off. But if I do need a filter, it's there. So, yeah, that should take anything that's lying around on here and put it into that place there. So let's have a look at what other crafting recipes there are for flowers. In this case, at Botania. Let's put flour. Okay, so we've got crafting recipes all the way through here. A pure daisy, we know that. We don't really need to make pure daisies very often. Endo flames. Okay, an endo flame. We'll make endo flames automated. So that's brown, red, and light grey. So at Botania, we want. Oh, we've only got 2 brown. We've got very little brown. Okay, let's not do it that way round. because we need a few more brown leaves before we start doing stuff like that. And another thing on the list would be the bellthorn. That's red, red, red with a mystic cyan. Okay, well, I've only got one red, but I do have a few more here. Can I process this down quickly enough? Yeah, there we go. So, red, 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 I believe it was. Red, 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 yeah. And a cyan. So just the one cyan. Bellathorn. 2 cyan. Okay, so let's make it 2. Need to do it this way around. Make 2. There we go. And then the seed, or redstone root, actually. Craft a redstone root, please. Thank you. Put a redstone root in there, and then a seed. Don't forget the seed this time. Okay. Right. And then the seed. So that should work on 2 of those. Let's take that redstone root. We've now got to create the flower first before we can make it work anyway. There's red petals. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then that, if we work on this, put that in, put that in, that in, that in, that in, that in. It's ready for that. There we go. Okay, so it replenishes. Redo the water, and then does the water go in fast enough for the hopper hock to only pick up the bucket? Yes. So it will refill the water before the hopper hock puts the empty bucket away. Alright, that's good. And then with this in there, that becomes a crafting recipe. Boom. And that can go back up there. Okay, I'm not actually going to be using the bellthorn for anything that I know of right now, but it will go in there as another recipe achieved. So now the system can make a few different flowers and bits and pieces in here. Yeah, that about sums it up for the Petal Apothecary, really. I don't think there's much more I can do to automate the Petal Apothecary. The hopper hock is essential that way to put things back in. I mean, if I ordered another one now, Bellathorn, if I ordered another Bellathorn now, it would put all those things in, and I should end up with 2 in the system. Oh, there it is. That hopper hock then picks it up and puts it in the system. There's the second one. Simple. So yeah, the hopper hock system works nicely. Now, that only has 9 spaces for patterns to go in. It only has 9 spaces for patterns to go in, but it is a successful automation of it. Just need to rearrange it, make it look nice. So we're doing a little bit of rearranging, not by much though. I've brought the crafting stuff down here out of the way because, well, I don't really need it in the whole area. So I'm bringing this section down for crafting. It also goes up to terminals and things like that. So the basic terminal wall and crafting down there should be simple auto crafty stuff, whereas the more complicated things should have their own kind of like little block, like this kind of little blocks. Whether this is the final design, it's a bit boring. Just living wood on its own, living rock on its own. Bit of living wood on the floor is okay, but a little bit more information, a little bit more for eye candy needs to be attached to this. But for right now, this is what we're doing. I've got the cables coming up from below. We're going to the interface. The interface has those flowers programmed in to put into the open crate, and we're up here. Now, I just realised that this is a minor complication, this part of the setup. It always seems to take a little bit more than it should, because look, that's now. Oh, wait a minute. That's not even what I wanted. That's now kind of wrong, isn't it? It doesn't work like that. That's not how it's going to operate. It's not going to work. So that needs to be there, really. But that's very difficult to get put into the right place, because it will tend to want to go on that block, which again doesn't put it in this block. So how do you get that to work? Well, the only real way that I can figure out to do this ever was to place another block in the right place and then put it. So in this case, Now it should be in exactly the right place for that to affect. And then we've got a full cable that side and a full cable that side. And this activates it, as you can see, almost straight away. It activates it. And then I can output there with a crafting card, yeah, so that when it's empty, the torch will do the thing that it's supposed to do, and we just need to ask for a bucket of water. Bucket, there we go, a bucket of water. Put a bucket of water into the export, like so, and that should do that. Okay. Boom, there we go. Right, and then on the other side here, we need to then cover this up slightly. We can have a hopper hock in this section. And this is about as pretty as it's going to look, isn't it? And that will suck things up that are dropped onto the ground and put it into the system. That is about as pretty as it's going to get right now. Yeah. I'm not sure if I like it. I mean, I could narrow it down a little bit. I could take these blocks away, make it a little smaller, put some cable covers on that. But I can't cable cover the bit of dirt there. Could cable cover it a bit though. Could. I'll think about that, and we'll change the the looks of things in the future. We'll change the looks of things in the future as we progress. But for right now, it works, and that's the main thing for today's episode, that it, as itself, is a working model, a working system. Same as that one. This one's now working, so we've got two raw material kind of like factory auto-creating, auto-crafting that I can come in here and I can look at flowers and I can craft hydrangeas, hopper hocks and bellathorns. All the others soon will be added to the system here as well. But I really need to get this this working next. Try and auto-craft the runes that we need and get that sorted next. Before we go, I must not forget to shear these bushes when I'm done. So I get 4 sheared bushes and put them into an alchemical version of this eventually. So this makes little seeds, boreal seeds, and there's another way of making the grass as well that we can make in the future. Put those in. So I'll just get those put away as well while we're at it, just so we've got that for the future. But that, I'm afraid, is all we've got time for today's episode. Thank you so very much for watching another episode of me automating Britannia with Applied Energistics 2 on the NemGo Reborn server. I will see you next time for some more. Don't forget to check out the links in the description and all those things that will really help me out. I will see you in the next episode very soon. Goodbye.